And a three-time Super Bowl champ and a one-time MVP, Julian Edelman, now joining us on the set, Fox NFL Sundays. I always think it's fascinating to talk to you in moments like this, because these games, I've had so many pros tell me, there's regular season games, there's playoff games, and then this is the flashbulb game, like, it's different. Go to your first series of every Super Bowl, even for you. I mean, even in New England, practices were intense.
Yeah.
Is the first series different? Is there, I mean, Michael Irvin said, like, in warm-ups the first time, like, couldn't feel his legs. Is it different?
It is very different. The lights are brighter. And early in my career, they still had the flashes. So I used to play on kickoff team. And you remember you see those epic shots of all the flashes from the first kickoff of the Super Bowl. And that first drive is one of those feel like we can't dip our toe. We got to dive into the water type drives where anytime we had a force block, I remember the first time going in and blocking Cam Chancellor on like the first play. I would always go in and try to light someone up to clear the cobwebs. Everyone's a little nervous. Everyone's thinking about stuff. It's the first play of the game. I remember I went in and tried to light up Cam Chancellor, and he felt like a rooted tree. And it was a big hit, and it kind of stumbled me. But, like, after that, I was like, all right, my feet are wet.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. And I do think for receivers, getting the ball early, after a 2-week prep, it's a 4-hour game. You've been through opening night. You've been through media night. There's been so many logistics you've had to cover, from taking care of your friends, your family, all the distractions. Getting something early is like, all right, we're involved. Now we can get going. So I agree. This game is different. Everyone's a little bit healthier because of the extra week off. Everyone's a lot more prepared because you have 2 weeks to prep for guys. And it's just it's a whole nother speed. There's no saving the gas. Like, you save the gas a little bit here and there in the regular season because it's a long season.
Sure. Here,
when you have professional athletes that are big, fast, and strong, playing relentless, it's a different game.
I asked Michael this about Jimmy Johnson. I'll ask you the same question with Belichick. You've often told me that Bill was so good on Saturday nights. Tom said this, just buttoning stuff up. What is the pregame speech for a Super Bowl?
The pregame speech for the Super Bowl, it changed every year. But the one that sticks out was 14, when we went 10 years without winning a Super Bowl. It was kind of like our generation of Patriots' first go at it. And he went on this big speech of everyone's here for a reason. The Rob Ninkoviches that were long snappers, the Devin McCourtys that weren't first-round draft picks, me who was a quarterback, the Tom Brady who was getting old. Everyone was kind of like a misfit or an outcast at that time. They couldn't get over the hump. And he just reminded us, like, we're all here for a reason, and let's make that reason for a win. So, it was nothing like, it wasn't like Al Pacino in Any Given Sunday. It was subtle, and he would show clips and highlights of guys in college and guys that, pivotal pieces of the team, the James Whites, the Shane Vereen's, those guys. He would show everyone, like, this is our reason why we're here. Just and it did get you fired up, and you get all fiery, and then you had to go to a 2-hour walkthrough. But it was good. It was good.
Strangely, despite all the components, you guys are a slow first quarter Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
Were the plays scripted, and I always think Bill had such confidence in his culture and system that he wouldn't mind. It's like Ali in his prime. I'm going to feel this puppy out. Yeah. I'm not going to unload the exotics. Why did you guys start so slowly?
I think it's a very hard game to get a rhythm in. There's longer commercials. There's more commercials. There's an anticipation by everyone because of the 2 weeks. I mean, and everything how big they make this event. Like, you feel that in the first few drives. And then also, I think he would always say you got to wait for the game to declare. So, guys, there's going to be a point in either the first quarter, the second quarter, where we're on our script and we're going to have to adjust to the adjustments, and the game is going to declare. I just remember him always saying that. And yeah, we go in with somewhat of a scripted, not a West Coast 25-play script, but we'd have like certain plays that we knew we wanted to run here and there. And it was always kind of like, all right, we'll see how they're playing this play because we have a counter to this play.
Okay.
Is the DN, is he slooping on this thing? Is he coming out? How's he playing it? How's this offense? How's this coverage going? So it's a lot of feeling each other out, seeing what the game plan, what they've been working on, any wrinkles. And it's just one of those things where we were driving the ball a couple times. We threw, we fumbled it or picked it. It just, once again, a lot of nerves going into that first drive, lack of rhythm because of all the lengthy timeouts, and just guys just trying to feel what the game's going to be.
You hear a lot the critics of Chiefs fatigue.
Yeah.
And I think the ultimate compliment, I remember this with the Jordan rules and Shaq and Kobe and New England. It's like I always thought Deflategate was a joke. To me, it was just nonsense. When you hear Chiefs fatigue and they're getting the calls, I do think that Buffalo game, I thought it was a first down. They didn't get it. I mean, the Tuck rule, it is what it is. There was 13 minutes left in that game with Buffalo. Yeah. Make a play. But you've been in that world where you're kind of the villain. Was it inspiring? Did you care?
It was definitely inspiring. And if this is the worst thing they get is that the refs call for them, like we went through a couple gates, like that they'd get off easy if this is the length of how much people are getting on them. But I think it's one of those things where everyone says stuff about you. It's the biggest compliment where everyone has to come up with excuses instead of just beating you. So it's the ultimate compliment, I think.
I do think there's a real connectivity between you and the Patriots, or you and the Chiefs. It's a star coach, star quarterback, often going into a Super Bowl where people think the Seahawks or the Eagles have better players, or the Niners. But you and the Chiefs are so great in situations. Yeah. You're circumstantially, situationally so strong. You won a lot of close games. Yeah. And that's why it's so ironic that you lost to the Giants twice in close games. Did you feel it was an advantage having those games with Baltimore and Peyton Manning in Pittsburgh? Like games that were in doubt with 4 minutes left. Does that play a part in the Super Bowl? Like, I've kind of been here.
It does play a part because it's a bit of experience. I remember when we were down, New Orleans, week 4, 2 scores with 1:30. We came back and won that game. Kembrell Tompkins on the sideline with time ending. Like, that was on week 4. But that feeling that guys felt that you can come from behind when it's against all odds, that lasts the whole season. That's a bit of experience. So I do think that all these close games that the Chiefs have played in, that's just built to their situational football. Like, whenever the game was close, we understood that our coach always talked about being a mentally tough, physical team that performs under pressure in situations consistently. And that's what the Chiefs have done. If you look at a lot of their stats, they're not explosive by any means, but they're 10% higher than last year on third down. They have like something 49 10-play plus drives. And what's that? That's them evolving their team, knowing that they have a great defense and having these long drives and adjusting their team to winning the game. A lot of these teams, they get all infatuated with having the best running offense or the best passing offense or this, that. The Chiefs just worry about getting one more point than the other team. That's where they're at in their career.
Mahomes and Kelsey, there's a lot of times that I just think they look at each other. Mm-hmm. You clearly, especially like by the time you're getting to Atlanta and that Super Bowl, were there times that you did go off script, where there was a Super Bowl moment where Tom looked at you and it was one of those where maybe you tried it and it didn't work and you kind of just felt like, does that happen in a game of this magnitude?
It does happen. Super Bowl 49, Seattle, it was a third down in that last drive before we were going down to score. After I took that big hit, it was the next drive. There was a Haas Z juke where I have a juke route in the middle of the route, and they dropped a P dropper, so there was 8 guys in coverage, 3 rushing, and the guy dropped out, and I brought my depth deeper and went around them, and we ended up converting the third down. And me and Tom literally just talked about this play. Like, it wasn't on there, but because of the time on task that we had with each other and the trust that we had with each other, like he trusted my eyes in that situation, and I trusted his throw in that situation.
I remember that play.
You know what I mean? So a lot of that happens through the reps and the preparation that you've had for years with guys. I mean, Travis and Patrick can finish each other's sentences because they've seen the same looks. Football, there's only 6 coverages, okay? Let's break it down. It's not rocket science. There's only so many things they can actually do, and they've seen everything multiple times. So when they see a messed up look with a look, they can determine without even talking, hey, we know what we're doing because Thursday practice we hit this, remember on the, and they don't even have to say anything, nonverbal comps.
What do you do on Friday before the Super Bowl? What's that practice like?
Friday's Fast Friday, so it's a very mental, fast practice, no balls on the ground, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, going over certain situations that may have gave you some trouble early that week in practice or the prior week of practice back at home. You go over all that, you tighten it up, you get a little lift in. It's very fast, it's very mental. And then, like, usually Friday night, this is like your last day to hang out and see your family. Then you're going 0 dark 30 LeBron style after that. So you have your night where there's probably some, like, welcome the families to the Super Bowl thing. You say hi to your family. You have a dinner potentially. And then after that, tomorrow you have your picture day, and it's a big mental day, walk-through day. You're kind of getting your treatment in. You're trying to calm the storm before, it's real calm. And like today is like your last day. This is your last day physically to go out and rep something. Now you could have 1,000 different, like in Seattle, when we felt like we needed more man coverage plays in the red area, we had all the hay in the barn. That week's of practice, or that 2 weeks of practice, we put in like 3 or 4 plays in the red area Saturday night before the game. The X return where I scored, and then the Danny touchdown where it was the 4 crossers in the red area. We knew we felt like we need, I don't know where we got it, but Josh and Tom, they said, well, we need some more. I remember Tom saying, we need something else. What if I want an easier look. I don't want to have to process here in the red area. So we put those 2 plays in, and we repped it the night before. So, like, there's a lot of the crossing the T's, dotting the I's, finishing the family right now today, Friday, Saturday, it's 0 dark 30.
Did Bill give you, I mean, you guys had some of you were young. You were young at one point.
Yeah.
Did Bill give you a night on the town?
Yeah, Tuesday.
So you can go out and do whatever.
Monday, night off. Tuesday, there was no curfew. Monday, Tuesday, you had like a regular off day Tuesday where you're expected to kind of go in and get some treatment, watch some film, but it's not mandatory, but you're looked at differently if you don't do it. So yeah, guys would go out on a Monday. I remember going my first Super Bowl before I was really playing it that many times in Indy, hanging with Cope and drinking a couple beers and just talking old war stories. So yeah, that happened. We had that.
Yeah.
We had fun. I know everyone thinks we didn't have fun. It's real fun? Going to the damn parade the next day. That's fun.
Yeah, it's by the end with Tom, he was so iconic. I mean, Tom was so big.
Yeah.
I was at the Atlanta Super Bowl. I don't know. To me, I thought everything changed. I thought Tom, there was all this ridiculous talk for years. Well, the system. And then I thought after the Atlanta Super Bowl, it's like, we just watched the best player that's ever played football play. You, of course, had the catch. I thought everything felt different. You guys were a dynasty. It felt like Tom sort of went into the galaxy of, he's above Montana. He's above Elway. Take me beyond the catch and the catch. What do you remember about at the end of the game? Because I went back and looked at the highlights 2 nights ago. I mean, every play, Julian, every play in the last half hour mattered.
Yeah. Was
that the most intense environment ever?
I don't think so. It was intense, but it wasn't the most because, once again, like we were talking about earlier, we had that situation where we were down 10 points against Seattle in the fourth quarter before and had the biggest comeback from behind victory. Now, that experience helped us going forward to this one, But we did. I mean, you did feel that Tom hit a different stratosphere after we won that game because he overcame Bradshaw, Montana, got to 5. But I always tell the story, like, before that year, we were training in L.A., and on the whiteboard, Tom had the address to the Super Bowl in Arizona, and I asked him, what's this? And he says, it's a Super Bowl. And I was like, man, I can't wait to get you past Joe. I want to get you past Joe. We got to catch Joe, because we were both San Francisco 49er fans. And he looked at me and didn't miss a beat and said, I'm going for Jordan. I'm not going for Joe. And then after that, when we won that game, I said, we're going for Jordan. It was fun.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.